the Great Northern Highway, the main arterial inland route through to the red north of WA, home to some of the largest road trains in Australia and massive oversized loads. It's long, remote and unforgiving to the ill-prepared, but a must-do for us adventurers. First landmark of the trip, we'll call this, to stop and have a look at. It's labelled as Wubin rocks, but there's not much rock. That's it. Say hi. This is our little campsite for tonight. My swag there. Jen's swag there. Tonight's dinner, some nice lamb chops, going in the tripod, getting cooked over the fire. Another one of these little trees which gathers bits and pieces. I've seen thong trees before, and there's a helmet tree somewhere as well, which has got all the hard hats and people which have quit their jobs. But this one's sort of a bit random in the middle of nowhere. Battery looking a bit battered. get a bit worse for wear. Some of the old tools. What you got to say for yourself, mate? Nothing? Geez, a bit tight-lipped, aren't you? Don't want to tell us your secrets? That's fine by me. Payne's Find Gold Mining celebrating 100 years. From 1911 to 2011, Taylor family 80 years of mining. Even though the tourist shop is no longer open and operating, at least all the artefacts, all the interesting items are still on display. Such as what looks like an old boiler, an interesting looking motorised wheelbarrow kind of little truck, obviously for getting in and out of small places. Metal skate of some sort. Some form of gearbox machinery, an example of a cover of a mine shaft, along with various other displays. Kind of a tripod set up, obviously with a pulley made for pulling the material out of a shaft which has been dug directly down. A couple of old trucks, an old trailer down the back, various pieces of old manual sifting contraptions, all sorts. After having tried a couple of side tracks which turned into dead ends and looking for tracks which were on the GPS on the map but didn't actually exist, we've had to resort to running down this fence line to go and find the old camel station. Well, it's taken a bit of a trekking through the bush to find this joint. We tried several different tracks which didn't go anywhere. Apparently, according to the maps, this is the old Government Camel Station. Taken some work to build something like this, fitting all the rocks together. There's the old fireplace. Looks that would have been the chimney going out by the top. Yes, there's the old fireplace. crossed over Lake Barley on the very western end, it's evident that there's way too much here to explore with our time frames for this trip. So this will be logged as a future trek in itself. Sitting at 1,980 square kilometres, it's going to take a fair few days to explore it. What are we cooking tonight, Jen?
Beef ribs in the camp oven.
Beef ribs in a camp oven.
Yes.
Is this your recipe or do you get it from somewhere?
Harry's recipe out of his Fire to Fork cookbook.
Wicked. He does some good meals. So what are we putting in it?
Well, we've got some beef stock, some diced tomatoes, some Dijon mustard, some garlic. We've got some barbecue sauce, chilli.
Not hot chilies though.
No.
That's good because I don't like hot chilies.
No, these are green. You're okay. Brown sugar, onion. Of course, got to have some beer in there, and some water, and some salt and pepper.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your first stage?
Right. I'm gonna get all these ingredients, but at first I need to chop up the chilies and the onion. Chop them in there, and then just mix all the other stuff in there together, all the liquid and stuff, and then we'll, once I do that, I'll prepare the ribs, and hopefully I won't add any flies in.
Well, that would be nice.
That'd be lovely.
Just save flavour many of them out of here.
Yeah, there's so many here, so
Ridiculous.
hopefully I won't add any in. So I'll chop the onion first.
And for the record, where we are, we've just done another one of our little random camp spots out in the middle of nowhere where nobody is here except the flies and us. Yep.
Are we ready in a second? Just want to make sure.
Okay.
Check out my sexy nails, bitches.
Meat stage.
Sage.
The best bit. Did you know that eating meat is the best way to cure yourself from becoming a vegan?
Slice them.
That's some good looking meat.
Yeah, fucking does. This is from our one of our local butchers in Bunbury, Buckingham's.
Buckingham's, good stuff.
Good stuff, always good, always good.
Never had an issue with anything from there.
No. Oh, so excited. These are going to be awesome.
I know, right?
I've lost one in there. Can't find it on. And then we'll get the tripod over the fire and chuck some coals on top and see how
Get
it
it
goes.
cooking. Doing it slightly different. Instead of sitting actually right on the coals, we'll just keep the coals underneath it. The coals on top of it. So in the past we've had camp oven cooks which tends to burn the bottom if it's sitting on the coals and it gets too hot. I think that might be a good way of controlling it a little bit better. Ribs came out of the camp oven falling off the bone, so we just chucked them on the hot plate just to brown them up that last little bit. Poured some of the juices from the camp oven over them to keep the flavours. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
They've come out awesome.
They've come out bloody brilliant. So was it about 3 hours in the camp oven?
Yes.
And then a quick 10-minute flip-flop on the hot plate just to brown everything up a little bit. And as a side, a bit of a smashed together, smashed up hash browns, onions, seasoning, etc, etc, because we kind of ran out of time to do the potatoes that we were going to do. Time to dish it up. Interesting little old stockyard. Say by its size, it's probably made for mustering goats. I've seen a few goats in the area. Base of an old water tank. Drink trough. Oh look, we've still got one of the nanny goats left there. Meh. Rather rude nanny goat at that. There's the old little ramp. Ow! Oh, that's a spiky bush, that. Oh, damn it. Quite a small little loading ramp or so, whatever it was. Old school windmill, upgraded with a nice new tank. New plastic tank installed inside of the old style corrugated tin outside with a cement liner. Just outside of Sandstone. It's a lone grave, a few plaques. These plaques have been placed by volunteers from Outback Grave Markers. Please treat respect. See stories on our website, outbackgraves.org. In memory of those who died at Ivy Linden since 1903. Near here lies William Bushell Pierce, boarding house keeper, aged 54. Died 6th of the 10th, 1903 of heart failure. John Jones, prospector, died aged 45 by horse accident, 1903. Patrick J. Cummins, prospector, aged 51, died of a heart failure, 1904. Frederick Henry Jones, miner, died aged 40, 1905. Perforation of bowel. Sounds like a painful way to die. Aboriginal woman, name unknown, died about 1905. That's just a handful. And here is a couple more rows. I won't read them all out. A couple more rows of rows and rows. What's that one? Suicide by gunshot. Here we are at Sandstone's London Bridge. Very popular little destination. This breakaway, a unique natural structure consisting of weathered basalt, is believed to be about 350 million years old. In Sandstone's early years, it was possible for a horse and buggy to cross the bridge, but unfortunately it has undergone considerable erosion since that time, and visitors are requested not to walk over it. It's the old sandstone brewery. things were getting a little desperate trying to find a camp spot. But once again, we come up with a pretty decent little place. This is off to the side of a gravel pit. We're running out of daylight because Google failed us where we were trying to go, and it decided to try and send us down a fence line, which was not appropriate.